Jamestown proved that an English colony could survive, but it wasn't the only settlement that would shape America's future. In 1620, a small ship called the Mayflower arrived on the coast of present-day Massachusetts, carrying a group of English religious separatists, later known as the Pilgrims. They wanted to preserve their religious community and build a colony where they could govern themselves according to their beliefs while creating a better future for their families. Before going ashore, the Pilgrims signed the Mayflower Compact, an agreement to work together and govern themselves for the good of the colony. It became one of the earliest examples of self-government in English North America.
Their first winter was extremely difficult. Freezing temperatures, disease, and a lack of food killed nearly half the settlers. Without help from the local Wampanoag people, the colony might not have survived. Squanto, a Native American who spoke English after earlier contact with Europeans, served as an interpreter between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag. He also taught the settlers how to grow corn, catch fish, and survive in their new environment. Their successful harvest in 2021 later inspired the holiday Americans now celebrate as Thanksgiving.
Over the next several decades, more English settlers crossed the Atlantic. New colonies were established, and towns like Boston became busy centers of trade and commerce. England wasn't the only European power competing for land. The Dutch founded New Amsterdam on Manhattan Island, while the Swedes built small settlements along the Delaware River. Eventually, England took control of both areas, renaming New Amsterdam as New York. By the early 1700s, Britain ruled 13 colonies, stretching from New Hampshire to Georgia. People from across Europe came looking for land, opportunity, and a fresh start. At the same time, the forced labor of enslaved Africans became a key part of the Southern economy, especially on tobacco and rice plantations. As the colonies grew, settlers moved farther west into lands also claimed by France. This led to the French and Indian War. It was called that because Britain fought alongside several Native American allies against France and many of its indigenous allies. Britain won the war in 1763 and gained a huge amount of territory, but victory came at a high cost. The British government was deeply in debt. To help pay for the war, Parliament passed new laws, including the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts, requiring the colonies to pay new taxes. Many colonists believed these taxes were unfair because they had no representatives in Parliament. The slogan, "No taxation without representation," quickly spread throughout the colonies. Tensions continued to rise. In 1770, British soldiers fired into a crowd in Boston, killing 5 civilians in an event known as the Boston Massacre. 3 years later, colonists protested again by dumping hundreds of chests of British tea into Boston Harbor during the Boston Tea Party. Britain answered with harsh new laws, hoping to bring the colonies under tighter control. Instead, the colonies became more united. In 1774, leaders from 12 colonies gathered at the First Continental Congress to decide how to respond. Many still hoped peace was possible, but both sides were already preparing for something much bigger. Within months, years of political disagreements would turn into open fighting. A single shot fired in Massachusetts would change history forever and begin America's fight for independence.